blessing. And tonight I'm speaking on long suffering. And when I got the message from Elder Hubbard, I said to myself, I said, you must be joking. Why me with long suffering? I, begin to play in my mind, have I lived long enough, to talk about long suffering? I said, maybe he should have picked a well-seasoned mother to speak about long suffering, but, I began to look and see what long suffering meant, and so, I looked and see what long suffering was. So I did a little research, and so the research was showing that the fruits of the Spirit was sort of like in categories, 3 categories, and mine was in the category of a relationship with others. I need to focus on relationship with others. So I'm just lost for words. But,
that's all right. Take your time.
It's not about us. It's about other people. We have to pray for others, Let me show you what long suffering that I looked up. It says long suffering is a Greek word that's called microthumia, if I'm pronouncing it right, which is made of 2 root words, and micro means long, and thuma means temper. So long suffering, we as saints, we need to have a long temperance. When people do things to us, we need to, have long suffering, not to react to that person. We as saints of God, we have to put up with a lot of stuff, and as a saints of God, people do a lot of things to us, They break our hearts, they do things to us, and, we can react to it, but we have to have that long temper, for them to see God in us. We all had short temper. When somebody done something to us, how we be ready to, put our hands on our hips and, tell them how
I know you're right
about this situation, and tell them how far I'm going to take you and how long I'm going to take you and when I'm going to let you off. But,
what you say?
Of God, we have to have that long temperance. We have to hold whatever we have in our minds and just stand and pray, and let the Lord, fight this battle for us, because we, the prime example that I can think of is Jesus, because he had long suffering, because he came to this earth to save a wretch like me, and I was a sinner, just like we all are sinners, but he had long suffering for us. When he was here, they defamed his name. When he was here, they lied on him. But he had long suffering.
Yes, he did.
For, sinners like us. He even went to the cross with long suffering. Because when he was going, when they had him standing with Barabbas and Jesus, who did they choose? They chose a thief and a robber.
That's right.
And he could have said something then, but he had long suffering for us. He went to the cross that we might
all right.
have, everlasting life. So if Jesus is our prime example of having long suffering, we go through a lot of things. People do a lot of things to us. They say a lot of things about us. They, defame our names. But we have to have long suffering.
Yes, got to.
We have to hold our peace. Let the Lord fight our battles. So that's what I got out of long suffering. I could think about when my granddaughter came to live with me. I had to practice long suffering. Because, as we were growing up, we didn't have that luxury to talk back to our parents. But with her, I had to suffer long suffering. Because she would lip off at me, then when I tried to explain to her what and why I'm doing this, she would still lip off. So I had to, go into prayer. So long suffering is not more about us, but it's about we have to pray for those that have hurt us. Because we can take it into our own hands. But as Christians, we have to, live the life. And Jesus. You know, the scripture tells us right here, Ephesians 4:1-2 says, I therefore, the prisoners of the Lord. And I don't mind being a prisoner for the Lord. You know, because I've been a prisoner for drugs and alcohol for a long time.
All right.
But today I am a prisoner for the Lord.
Yes, yes.
You that ye walk worthy of vocation wherein ye are called. So he is saying to us, he's begging us to walk, you know, in vocation. You know, vocation is, you know, people in the world, you know, they do their thing, you know, they have their jobs and everything. But we, as Christians, we have to walk worthy, upright, and so that somebody will see the Lord in us. And with lowliness and with meekness and with long suffering. You know, even our church people can hurt us.
I know that's right.
You know, we got to have long suffering. We got to put up. You know, we got to put up with a whole lot. But I'd rather put up for a whole lot because my desire and my goal is to make it to heaven.
Yes.
And, you know, and I want somebody to see Jesus in me. You know, I suffer on my job. You know, and I can say a lot. You know, and I could, you know, defend myself. But I refuse to defend myself. I go through long suffering because I want to let that person see Jesus in me.